That was dry. Anyway, we're glad to be back.
Yeah, it's amazing. It feels good to be back.
Yeah. Sorry you missed us a bit. We just got a bit caught up with life, I guess.
That
you know.
little munchkin is the last time.
Some
takes away all your existence.
Yeah, sometimes trying to work on your schedules and everything, before you know it, time goes and then you're not able to put things together, and then
you just figure out that adulting is not really adulting as you thought it would be.
When we're kids, we imagined that it would be like this fun. Like, I couldn't wait to grow up as a kid.
The biggest lie I was told was, don't worry about it, don't do it now. When you're older, you have enough time to do it. You can do all that.
When you're older, you have all the time to have all the fun. Don't worry about it.
When you're older, there's no time.
You're not. Your life doesn't belong to you anymore.
It doesn't really. It belongs to work. It belongs to family. It belongs to kids.
Honestly,
it belongs to the future. You really have no time for the now.
Honestly,
you absolutely do not have that time. It's both a great thing and
it's actually
bad
you
thing
need
as
to be
well.
able to now master or learn how to be in the present, because it now becomes an art to learn how to be in the present.
Yeah.
Because when you're too busy, either like chasing the future or like that's it.
It's the beautiful tragedy of life where you have to just live not for yourself, but for everybody else around you, because you figure out that people have actually done the same thing for you. Your parents did it, your uncles, your aunts, even your friends did it. At one point in time, you were the nucleus of their whole existence, and now it's your turn to actually give to the future, give even to the past, give to everybody else around you. So there really shouldn't be any complaints. Just enjoy, like it said, the cycle of life.
Yeah, beautifully well said. I like that. That's good. Let's enjoy. So we've been enjoying the circle of life, or rather trying to, but we're back with some good stuff for you.
Yeah, and this is the Nikki and Hannah show.
Curves and edges. Subscribe, like, please hit the bell. Don't forget, if you want to see more of us and just hang out with us, please support us. That's the best way you can support our channel. We love you and thank you. Okay, so B, well, get into it. I saw this funny thread and I was laughing my ass off, and I thought, okay, it would be cool to read it to you and get your reaction. So the thread, it's a Twitter thread. The thread it starts like, so Jared, give me a second, I'm just trying to call it up. Okay, what's the dumbest thing you did as a child? So that's the thread.
Believe it or not, I actually responded to that thread.
Really?
And people did not believe what happened.
Please tell us your own.
I think you've heard it before. You really say it every time we hang out with friends, The dumbest thing I ever did was one time in school, secondary school, someone brought a gun to school. He brought a literal gun to school. I've said this story.
A real gun?
A real gun. So I was just sitting outside and there was a whole buzz somewhere. I was like, what are those people doing out there? What's happening there? But anyway, they brought the gun to me. I was looking at it. I was like, cool. So I took the gun, pointed it straight to my face, and I pulled the trigger twice. And I asked him, why is it not working? And the guy said, the safety is on. I think that's the dumbest thing I ever did in my life.
Are you sure you're not dead and this is your ghost? You're in heaven.
Well, I could be dead, and like this is just me dreaming about life I never had. So everybody out there, this is my matrix. This is
oh my god.
Honestly, like it happened. It was when he said that the safety is on. That's when
and
I
it didn't
realized
occur to you that if it worked, you won't be able to ask that question.
I should have got. I swear down, I would not be here right now. Or rather, this
God.
matrix would be something else.
That is wild.
It's crazy. It really is. That's the stupidest thing I've ever done.
Okay, I give you I give you the award before I even read this.
Is it because it's a life and death situation? I mean, there are more tragedies in life.
Okay, so there's some
dying.
funny ones. So this one, it says, I love Eminem so much. I legit changed my government name to Stan and registered it for WAEC. Ghosters. I love Eminem so much. I legit changed my government name to Stan and registered it for WAEC. If you know how many docs I had to change, how many affidavits I had to sign, how many courts I had to visit, my father almost disowned me.
Oh my god. Why did you change it to like Marshall Matters or
Stan? No,
Eminem? Why
there's
Stan?
You know that song probably hit
No,
his brain.
one thing for certain was Eminem
I knew you'd
was
relate to
rave.
this one because
Eminem
you really loved
was
Eminem.
rave back then. Eminem was it.
So it continues. It says, imagine having to explain who Eminem was to an extended family meeting with aged people who only knew Barrister and Pasuma. At a point, I had 2 complete different documents with different names. I even lost an admission over it. Don't be dumb.
Oh my. This is the most extended life experience I've ever had. It's an unnecessary life
The
experience,
ass whooping that you chop
crazy. But wherever he went to change his government name, couldn't he have just gone back to rescind it?
No, when you change your name, it's an official thing and you have to publish it in the newspaper.
So he probably went through the
It's the
whole.
whole thing. He was passionate.
I mean, I loved Eminem. We all loved Eminem, but
Anyway, next one. I was playing with candles in my room and fire caught the mattress. I tried to put I tried to put it out, but it didn't go off. Out of fear, I closed the door and went to another room and slept off. The rest is history. Big kids, children are the worst.
But what did you think? It was just
to go away. It's something.
out of sight is out of existence. That's it.
Children are the worst. Oh my god.
Well, even as adults, we do that to our issues. Sometimes
God,
we
you
just bury
bury
our
it and
issues, just go to the next room.
Mama, the house probably
leave.
burns down. Let me son. So my mom told me to prepare 3 cups of rice for 4 people, and it was my first time cooking rice. I thought it wouldn't be enough, so as a supposed sharp guy, I brought everybody's plate out and put rice. There will be enough in each plate. Mama, when the rice ball finish? You know the funny thing, I have a similar story, but it's not rice. Like, when I was young, my dad asked me to make a cup of coffee for him.
Okay.
And I thought that coffee was like Milo, because I see it on dining table. Because I would always have Milo, Bonvita, or Ovaltine. But I just always saw coffee, but I just thought, oh, maybe it's like adults say coffee. So he says, make a cup of coffee for me. I said, okay. So I just went, I opened the Nescafe, like, because normally I'll put like 5 spoons of Milo for myself. I was just pouring the Milo. I took the coffee, I was just pouring the coffee. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like, okay, 5 spoons, okay. Then I put 2 cubes of sugar and milk, and I said, when he said, psh! He said, what is this? It's coffee now.
Coffee, as a kid, coffee always tasted bad for me. So
funny enough, I had never tasted it at that point.
Yeah.
I'd actually never tasted coffee. I just assumed that, well, it's the adult version of Milo. So if we kids we take like five spoons of coffee of Milo, adults would take. So you spat it out. So I never realized.
Was it that bad?
Be inedible. In like you can't even. Anyway, so that's a similar. So there's another one. I put my newborn baby sister inside my bag one morning because I wanted to show her to my classmates and teacher at school.
Well, at least my experience was for myself. You did it to someone else. Are you a serial killer? Did you grow up to maybe murder people? No, like what's the future updates? Like after that, I now thought of killing a whole country.
It's thought
Why
process
did you do
for me.
that?
It's like when I was seeing this baby, say, this baby. I want to show them in school. I told them now that yes, I'm his big brother now. I'll show them. So when nobody's watching,
So you just snatch the baby from the crib? Did you snatch the baby from the crib?
Okay.
To put the baby in your bag, zipped it up.
You know we're talking about domestic, right? You know you're giving us your own domestic. I just remember my own domestic.
Okay.
But my own domestic hadn't happened. But it's God that just made it not happen. Ask me why. You know when we saw Tom and Jerry, right?
Okay.
I don't know if you remember this episode of Tom and Jerry where Tom wants to fly. And then he ties bed sheets, puts on bed sheets on his hand, and then he just flaps his hands.
Yeah,
and then goes and then all of a sudden he starts flying, and then it's like he's falling, but when he flaps his hands so fast, he just takes off into the air. Okay? I told myself that I'm going to fly, and we're living on like first story building. And so after school one day I came home, I went to get the bed sheet. I tied it to my pinky fingers. I measured it, I tied it. But it was falling off, so I found a way to clip it onto my arms. And then I went to the balcony. I was like, okay.
Wait, from pinky fingers to where?
This pinky finger to this other pinky finger around my back.
Yeah,
it's a bed sheet, right?
Wow.
Because I wanted it to flap. But the bedsheet was too big and heavy. So I was like, okay, I need to fold it and tie it. So I folded it and tied it. But it wasn't giving me the effect.
Yeah, but if you fold it, the edges would be a bit too thick.
Yeah, so it wasn't giving me the effect. So I went with a wrapper instead. So the wrapper was now perfect. So when I went and I flapped it. So I tried, like I climbed the chair. And I did, but it didn't work.
Science was never your major, right? Did you have an issue
you know
with
why it didn't work? Because I thought the distance to the ground was too small.
So all the work Newton did was wasted on you.
So I needed to jump from first floor from the balcony. So guess what? Procrastination saved my life.
Oh, so you didn't even go through it.
So because I just kept saying, okay, I've gotten the formula. I just need to let me do my homework, and then maybe so before you know it, I think my parents came back. I was like, I'll do it tomorrow.
Then
tomorrow came. I was like, I'll do it tomorrow.
You have a life to live. Let's just let it go for now.
I would have died.
What were you gonna jump up from first floor?
Yes, first floor to the ground. So that's my own like dumb story. So this is so on to the next one. So this one, my mom told me that if any man touches me, I will get pregnant. One guy in school kissed my hand that day.
Oh, you heard
2
that
days
before.
later, I started vomiting. I told my friends, and they told me not to worry. After school, we will go to his house and make sure he takes responsibility for his baby.
How is he going to take responsibility? Is he gonna? I think gonna write responsibility on the paper, then he's gonna take it. Okay, very good accent.
Kiss my hand. You own this one. Stand up. Stand up to your responsibilities. Oh my god. Then there's this one. Sorry, this one says, happened to my younger brother. Let me share. Armed robbers entered our house. They threatened to shoot the twins if my mom doesn't give them all the gold and money with her. My brother shouted at my dad in front of the robbers that daddy, I don't understand this Yoruba, but daddy mi shebi awani ibon emujade. Shebi.
Daddy shebi awani ibon emujade. As it says, daddy, is it all of us that you gave birth?
The translation is, my daddy, we also have a gun, bring it out. Those ones faced my dad immediately, and my dad started apologizing that it's a toy gun and not a real one. Those ones asked my dad to bring it out. Upon seeing it, they smashed it on my brother's head. Ladies and gentlemen, our gun fell apart, I guess. Oh my god, okay, so this is another one. We were playing hide and seek. I hid behind the chair in the parlor. 30 minutes passed. Nobody found me. I got hungry and started eating the rat poison. I saw it.
Oh.
Bro. cry, then they pour palm oil for my mouth. When I swear I look like crayfish. And this guy,
Oh my god.
children have death wish. You were born, you saw rat poison.
Like it's a well documented fact that boys usually have high rates of mortality.
It's God that keeps them alive.
I swear it has to be dumb shit that we do.
It is literally dumb shit that you guys do. Oh my god.
What?
Oh god. I just read one. I stole my mom's money, went to school and bought storybooks for everyone in my class. Shared it to them. Then out of curiosity,
And it wasn't Christmas.
The teacher
You didn't have
called,
white beards.
the teacher called my mom and inquired. Asha, when I went home, when I got home, the only thing I remember I was waking up in the hospital. Oh my
Oh, that's
god.
brutal parenting.
Brutal, yeah. See, this one is funny. When my younger sister and I were little, she drank kerosene by mistake. They gave her milk to counter the effects of the kerosene.
Oh, you know how to do the same.
I saw this and wanted to drink milk too. So I took the kerosene and drank it. They used palm oil and beat it to counter my own effects. Oh my
I don't
god.
know what to say about that parenting though, but I think it was necessary. So you don't go do stupid and silly shit because you just want to have
don't
the
be moving
same
mad.
privilege.
Don't
you know,
be
of other
moving
people.
mad. This is fun. I ran away from home. Have you run away from home ever?
I don't think. Well, you don't have much in my house, so if I run away, it's like yes, -1. So I didn't have the privilege of running away.
I dreamt about it.
You did.
I was like, oh my god, I want to run away.
Running away is a girl thing because I remember my sister ran away one
This
time.
is a guy talking here, Joe.
It's a guy. You sure?
I ran away from home because I thought some wealthy family will see me, adopt me, and make me their son.
I think that's the wish of a lot of Nigerians growing up. You just hope someone picks you up.
I slept in the streets, not friendly at all. Hunger slapped me to another dimension. I thank God my neighbor saw me and took me home. I was ready for the beating. Do you know kids? You just imagine.
It's a
Just
dangerous
imagine
thing
you
to
like say
actually.
they'll adopt you and then a rich family somewhere will take you.
I always thought maybe that was a girl thing to do. Really.
This is the guy here that just did it. I think it's just depending, Sha. Oh my god. So there's this other one. This one's funny, sorry. During devotion, I asked my dad who will inherit his property. He said, guys, me and my brothers.
Oh, that's an important question to have with your parents. What do you think? It's an important question to ask.
He said, you trying to kill me.
No, far from that. I think they begin to understand that if you have that discussion with your
But
kids,
she said me or my brother, so it's
you
not.
tell them none of
But
you.
this was not okay.
You tell them none of you at all. It literally belongs to your mother, and she can do whatever she likes with it. She can decide not to give to you. And if I was the only parent you had, I mean, you can tell them, if I was the only parent you guys had, I will make sure I train you well enough that you are able to achieve greatness on your own and give everything I have to charity.
It will make them sit up sharp.
Yeah.
But could
They'll
they
just look at
the
like,
ones that say inherit it?
Are you sure?
Yes, now.
What's the coded about it? If you have a will.
Later, you change your your will will
Oh,
say
okay, yeah,
that
definitely.
they will inherit it, but
definitely.
they won't know that they're inheriting.
Yeah, they
so
won't know
sit up.
because they'll just be looking at everything in your house
Yeah.
and you're thinking, man,
Man, when
so
you
none
die.
of this is ours. We have to work for ours.
True.
You know, but moving on.
Okay, so one time my mom told me to blend tomatoes. I forgot and the gem went off. Then I panicked and tried to blend it with my teeth. I was chewing tomatoes and spitting it in a bowl.
I don't know. It's a border between
This is so ridiculous.
gross and
Oh my
ingenious act. I don't know. There's a borderline. There's just that thin line between
Did you think
something
that?
irritating and something
Oh my
almost
god. Then
genius.
imagine that tomato should now cook stew for the house. Moving on, this one says, I I poured milk, Milo, and Gary into a bowl because I wanted to drink Gary. The devil now whispered to me to find out what using hot water instead of cold water would be like.
So he used hot water.
As I was pouring the hot water into the bowl, my mom walked in on me and asked what I was doing. Long story short, I was eating choco eba and crying hot tears.
Oh my god.
You eat that thing, you eat it.
I remember growing up and I could cook.
Oh my god, that's
because I learned how to cook. My elder brother really couldn't cook, so one time he was fed up with me and my ego and my arrogance about the whole cooking situation, and he decided to cook. So he bought fish, and instead of removing all the gills and all the blood, he actually just put everything and cooked. Oh my god, that food tasted horrible. It was horrible. You have to actually gut a fish, take out all the gills, take out all the the blood from it all. He just put it all, he just quietly put it all, and I was looking at him, I was telling him, you don't do that, but as boys, you're not going to take advice from a younger brother. You don't do that, that's wrong, that's wrong.
Funny enough, although in my school though,
it was horrible.
I did eat fish with the gills. They fried it with the gills, and I got to kind of like the gills. It was like a delicious delicacy.
What kind of fish? You can't eat fish with gills, it's blood. That's what blood resides.
It's very nutritious.
Blood.
Gills.
Gills. That has blood in it.
You wash it off.
You related to Dracula.
I'm a vampire. Moving on. So that was a bit of like dumb stories, dumb things we did as kids.
But I think really, as kids, really, if you look back, they are dumb.
Yeah.
But at that particular point in time, it's just curiosity.
A kid will rationalize anything. That's the thing. And one thing I've noticed is, as kids, it's better to kind of voice out your ideas and opinions, because when you say them out, somehow, somewhere, someone around you will hear them and probably either correct you.
I appreciate that, but I mean, as a child, I think you should actually go through the experience of.
So they should do all these things. You should have pulled the trigger. Imagine there was a bullet in there. It's not everything you should go do. That's the thing. Half of these things here are ridiculous. Some of them could have ended badly, like the kid that put the baby in the school bag. What if that child died? You understand? So it's not everything you explore as a kid. Like sometimes it's just like grace that kind of keeps us alive.
But there'll always be a gaping hole in you if you don't do the things that come to you, and you basically just talk it out. If you talk it out, there's a difference. There's a point in your life where you actually need to not rationalize anything, not really think about it, but just go through it. It helps build your confidence. It expands your life experience. It helps you know and figure out things by yourself. The more you sit down, even as a child, and it translates into you being an adult as well, the more you sit down and you're spoken to about things, it reduces your ability to explore the world around you.
I understand and appreciate what you're saying.
Reducing your ability to explore the world around you has a greater impact in your life as an adult. You would want to do a thing, but you realize that, right from when I was a child, I was always rational. I'll sit down and think about it. And even though whatever you want to do may have a high chance of success or even a higher chance of failure, you most likely will not do it. You sit back and just rationalize and think and overthink it and really decide not to do it, because there are 1,001 reasons why you shouldn't do a thing and very few why you should actually do that thing. And doing that thing would actually teach you. Now, doing a thing like putting your infant, your baby sister or brother in your bag, right, and taking that child to school, it didn't happen, but you actually did. You actually went through the process of doing it, and someone caught you and talked you out of it. So there are two things here. You actually did carry out your thoughts, what was in your mind. So people looking at you, they know you for who you are. They know you and be like, okay, do you know what? You're prone to impulses, so they have to put an extra. They have to watch you extra, But if you don't, you just just sit back and you just chew on it in your head. No one really knows what you're capable of. Neither even yourself. You don't even know what you're capable of because you are hindered by yourself.
Well, I think you've said a lot, but what I would say is that within reason, you can't just deep dive on everything, to be honest with you. And I think that as part of growing up, also understanding the application of logic and reason to certain things and limits and boundaries, because as a child, that's all kids do. They test their limits and boundaries. So in your approach to testing limits and boundaries, if there's no supervision around you, that's one. Now, these things you're saying only applies if there is active supervision, because it could, in fact, not it could, there are many instances where it has totally gone wrong because kids just want to act out what they've thought. In America, kids have gone and picked up their parents' gun and shot someone to death because they've had the thought that, see, you upset me and then you shot. Which is where logic and reasoning comes in, whereby if you start learning it as a kid, it actually takes a while till you grow up to a certain point before it fully restrains you. I understand what you're trying to say, but the thing about kids or being young is, whether you like it or not, the tendency to be naive and impulsive is still there. What logic and reasoning does, it kind of guides you to not make irreversible choices as kids, because you can't say, oh, you're just a kid, just go ahead, or take the gun and shoot, oh, just, you know what, act out your this thing, and then when we see you do it, we'll now pick up on what you've done and try and correct you. So that's what I think. I think a bit differently from your perspective, but there are key points that you've also made that I agree with, but fundamentally I do think
so here's what I think in response to what you said. The contradiction is having to put things like logic and reasoning in the same parameter as children. Children are not reasonable, impulsive, they're curious about the world around them. So when we put those...
So how do you teach children then?
How do children learn?
No, how do you teach them?
You teach them from what they've done. So truth is, when a child does a thing, you then create a boundary around that thing.
You don't wait for the child to
That's the only reason why. That's the only reason why when a child does a thing, you actually encourage that child to